What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon NBA DFS video. It is Thursday. It is March 7th, and we have a 7-game slate we are going to look at today. If you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently. We go through some players, we look at some information that we want, and we build some lineups at the end of this video. So, a couple of things. We try to have giveaways every single day. If you want to get in that giveaway, it's super simple, super easy, super free. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. I'm trying to give away things, and no one's leaving comments. So if you guys would like, leave a comment, have a chance. If we get if at least 50 likes on a video, we will give away a free week of DFS content. If we get 100 likes, it's a free month. 125 likes, a free year. And anytime a video gets 150 or more likes, we will give away a lifetime pass worth $500. The second way to win, and it can be as your comment as well, be a subscriber, like this video, and tell me who you think is going to score the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points and how many will they score. If you get both of those correct without going over, closest without going over, you will win a free week of content. If you get the exact fantasy points, you will win a free year of content. So, no one's had the exact one with the correct player. A couple of days ago, we had someone who had the exact fantasy points for Luka, but he did not score the most amount of fantasy points. So, 2 ways to win. Hopefully, you guys are in it to win it. And back-to-back days of Alperen Sengun being the top scorer. No one had him yesterday. No one had him the day before. So, you know, it's still a fun contest. We're going to do this for every video that we have. For MLB, what we do is we do home run predictions. So if you have not checked out our content, baseball's starting very, very soon. We're very excited. But go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, everything we have there. But here on YouTube, you can look at our playlists, and you can look at our MLB playlist. Usually the ones basically between last May and September was our real great stretch before playoffs started, and you can see how well we did with MLB. So we're very excited about that. And we're going to go over some things, but anytime there's at least 5 games on the slate, in the description of this video is today's article, which has 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. So we're very excited about that. And anyone who's been around for a while knows that we've been wanting to do our own lineup optimizer, and and I don't want one that's like an Excel sheet that you have to do a lot of input with, and that is where hopefully this new partnership comes into play. And we've been working on this in the back end for a little bit, and I've been mulling the idea whether or not to do it. We're going to do it for a trial run, see if you guys like it. So we have actually partnered up right here with DFS Hero. In the description is the link to sign up. If you sign up, they have a ton of things over there. The lineup optimizer is awesome. They've got projections there as well. We will have our own projections. We are partnering up with them to give you guys, hopefully, the best DFS experience you possibly can. When you sign up, you get 15% off your first month if you use our link. So what you have to do is you have to use our link, which is in the description of this video, and sign up for 15% off your first. They've got simulations, which we are going to incorporate into our website. They've got an optimizer, which I would love to incorporate on our website, but we cannot. So you're able to use our information. You're able to use the free information we have. We also have a ton of things on the website. You can use those, all of that information, all of the projections, all of the ownership percentages. You can mix and match them into their optimizer to bring you optimal lineups. So that being said, hopefully this is a good partnership. If you guys are interested, you can always hit me up. You can check out our Discord channel. We're going to have exclusive Discord things. We have our value plays there. We have our core plays in the Discord every single day. You can turn those into DFS Hero Optimizer, and you can use those to build some lineups. So that being said, we're going to try this partnership. If you guys like it, definitely let us know. We will continue with this partnership. If you don't, let me know that as well. But very, very excited to partner up with DFS Hero. So that being said, we are going to do the exact thing we do all of the time. We're going to look at some players at each position. We're going to look at the Vegas numbers. We're going to hopefully build out. And at the end, we are going to go over some of the simulations and projections for those simulations for the plays that we like. At the end of the video, we're going to build a lineup using NBA points allowed by position, just like normal. We're going to do FanDuel and DraftKings. So let's get started. We have 7 games on the slate. We have Kings versus Spurs. Kings been a 10-point favorite coming off a back-to-back, so we'll kind of look at this. 238.5 over-under. Suns versus Raptors. Suns being a 10-point favorite. 231.5. Pacers, Timberwolves should be a close game. Again, anytime the Pacers are in a game, I absolutely want to take some players in that game because it's a high-scoring game all the time. The games are usually close or projected to be close, so we can stay in the game with most of our players. So I definitely want to be looking at Kings versus Spurs because it's the highest over-under, and I definitely want to be looking at the Pacers versus Timberwolves on both sides of the ball there. We've got Mavs versus Heat. Mavericks being a 4.5-point favorite. We've got Warriors versus Bulls. Warriors being a 6.5-point favorite. Nuggets versus Celtics. It's a close game right here. Love both sides of the ball here. It's a lower over-under 221, but I will take that. Then we got the Pistons versus the Nets. The Nets are only a 2.5-point favorite against the worst team in the league. I want exposure to this game as well. I'm sad it's a 217, but depending on when you watch this video, maybe these numbers have moved, maybe the lines have moved, and we will definitely take advantage of that. So, also, if you guys sign up FTA Plus, that is all of our research information, everything plus sports betting for $24.99 a month, or we have 2 promo codes going right now. The MLB season is upon us in a couple of weeks. You can use the promo code MLBVIP on the yearly pass. Instead of $199, you can get it for $75. Or you can sign up using the promo code VIP customer, all one word, all capital letters, get 2 years for $99, where a year is $199 a piece. So we're running 2 specials. We have only a couple of coupon codes left for both, so definitely check that out. So looking at this, we've got Minnesota versus Indy. Like I said, I want exposure to this game. Halliburton is very expensive. He doesn't have the best of matchups here, but we look at this. We've got, and he's coming off 47 fantasy points, then 33, then 7.75. We never know what he's going to do. When you're playing for cash, you're usually looking for right around 7 times value, right? 7.5 times value. For tournaments, you're looking for 8.5 times value. And just kind of looking at this, at his price at $8,800, after 20,000 simulations, only 7% of the time did he hit 7 times value, and only 1.87% of the time did he hit 8.5 times value. So, again, simulations can only go so much, but I don't know if I want to pay up for Halliburton there. There are other players that I want to pay up for. Anthony Edwards in this game, I absolutely want to go and have exposure to. I absolutely love what he brings to the table. He's the same price as Halliburton. I love his matchup even better. I don't want to take Halliburton over Edwards. Just looking at him, Edwards has a floor of 33.41 on DraftKings. He has a ceiling of 52.37. I still like this. Is it 8%, 8 times value? No, it's not. He's only projected about 3.33% to hit 8% of value. So I am looking at those. These are players. Pascal I would look at, Rudy Gobert, Miles Turner. You want to get a little bit cheaper. That's where you guys are here for. So looking for cheaper plays would be Naz Reid, Mike Conley. So we used Mike Conley last game against Portland, 38 fantasy points 3 days ago. Came through force at 5,500. They dropped his price down for whatever reason, and I feel like his matchup is a little bit better than it was last time. We look at this. His floor is 21 fantasy points on DraftKings. His ceiling is 34.19, which is exactly what we would need at 5,200. So I'm kind of looking at this. He's most likely going to get 4.5 times value, unless something happens with him getting hurt or ejected. We're looking his best option, probably right around 6 times value, which we would be looking at. So again, not 6.5, not 7, but you're not going to get 7.5 times value out of every single player in your lineup. You're going to find those players that, higher price guys, they're not going to get that. You can have the boom bust, you can have the stars and scrubs, whatever you want to do with your lineups. There are different ways to go about it. You can find those players at 3,700 that go for 37 fantasy points, get 10 times value. Then you can get those Mike Conleys at 5,200 that get 6 times value. It evens out. So looking at the player pool here, I would look down here at Nemhard. I would look a little bit. If you're looking to get a little bit crazy for value, so just kind of looking at Jaden McDaniels per the simulations. He's actually hit 8.5 times value 4.93% of the time in these 20,000 simulations. 8 times value was 7.47. 7.5 times value was 11.13. So all of these simulations are going to be right here under NBA and NBA DFS simulations. So a cheaper option is Jaden McDaniels. You could look at Kyle Anderson if you trust him at 4,300, which he's dropped down in price. He has a good matchup. It will really just depend if he gets the minutes in there. So there are a ton of options that I like in this game. I want both sides of the ball. I don't think I'm going to be on Halliburton. I think I'm going to be on everybody else when you're building your lineups through here. So we go to the Brooklyn-Detroit game. Both teams are bad. Obviously, Detroit's a little bit worse. Cunningham, he's getting expensive at 7,600. I would look at him. With Cam Thomas being out, with Cam Johnson being out, with Ben Simmons being out, this is going to open up Brooklyn value. Now, value will open up throughout the day, so that is why I tell you a couple of hours, about an hour before, let's say an hour to 45 minutes before tip-off, go to our Discord in the description of this video, and we will be having the best value on the slate. We will show you what that is. So we'll wait throughout the day for news, but we've already got a ton of Brooklyn players being out. The game being close. I love Cunningham. I love Michael Bridges. Michael Bridges and Claxton. Claxton has a great matchup here against Detroit. I would be looking at him. Dennis Schroeder could be thrown into that. Dorian Finney-Smith could be, the minutes, looking at 30-plus minutes out of him. 34 fantasy points. He's 5,000. So they have bumped him up, but I absolutely love me some DFS there in DFS. Lonnie Walker IV, his minutes, if everyone is out, he had 30 minutes in that game, 29 fantasy points. Didn't get the 1 point per fantasy point per minute, but again, I really like him at 4,600. There's a lot of value to be found with Brooklyn today. And the normal Detroit players we're going to be looking at. Miami versus Dallas. So Luka's shown as questionable, but he is probable. Should be playing. I mean, it's 70+. He's had 4 straight games of 70 fantasy points, followed by an 87 right there. He's got a good matchup here. I love his matchup here. Again, when you are paying up 12,200, you're not going to get 8 times value. Most likely, you're not going to get 8 times value. Because if we just look at this, so 12.2 times 8 is 97. He has had 97. This is true. He had that 90 game one time. Again, don't expect that every single game. He's not 100%, I guess, but he is probable. We're looking probably 70, 75 fantasy points out of him. So the way you build your lineup, you could find value in the Brooklyn players, in the Minnesota Indy players, in the Detroit players. You can find some value to be able to pay it for Luka today. Kyrie makes sense. Adebayo makes sense. Jimmy Butler, we had him yesterday. You want to get down a little bit lower if he plays. So he was ejected Tuesday versus Pistons in the third quarter, so that's why he played 21 minutes. So we can kind of look at this. Back-to-back 20-plus fantasy points. He's 4,000. If he doesn't get ejected, if he stays in the game, if he doesn't foul out, you could be in store for a value pick at center for Jovic here. But again, people are going to see he only played 21 minutes. Probably would have played more, but got ejected out of the game. So with Kevin Love being out, love me some Jovic here. You want to get a little bit lower. You could be looking at Dante Exum, but the minutes are very inconsistent for me. And I probably wouldn't go any lower. Delon Wright playing his old team, I believe. Yeah, I wouldn't play him. Played 3 minutes. Is so inconsistent. Hasn't played for a while either. So Dante Exum was as low as I would go for tournaments. But yeah, you're still looking at Jaquez Jr., Duncan Robinson. We used him. Was it last game or 2 games ago? It was last game against Detroit 2 days ago. At 5,800, he put up 33.75. I absolutely love him here. He should get a little bit more run. The minutes should be there. We're looking at 35 plus minutes out of Duncan. I wouldn't be surprised. 5,800, we are able to pay up at other positions there as well. So, again, Luka, Kyrie are the big guys. Duncan Robinson, PJ Washington, Jaquez Jr., Terry Rozier. These guys are what I would look at for some value in this lineup. Toronto versus Phoenix. Kevin Durant, obviously love. Devin Booker being out will open up some other value. Bradley Beal, again, obviously they've been easing him back in, but he's getting 34, 36 minutes. He's getting 1 point per minute or more. He's 6,900. If we look at Beal in simulations, 7.47%, 7.5 times value. 12.73%, 7 times value. So 6,900 times 7, we could be looking at that. Do the calculation. That's kind of what we're looking at. Bradley Beal, I think we should be good. This should be a good matchup for him. He's getting the minutes. We kind of wanted to watch him get eased back into how many minutes he would play. He has proven that he, as long as everything goes well, he's going to get 30-plus minutes. So with Devin Booker being out, absolutely love Bradley Beal. I think he's still underpriced at 6,900. Considering what he's doing. Some value in this, Royce O'Neal. We've looked at him. The price is going up. It is going up, but the minutes are there. So as long as he could get in there, should see some run as well with some guys being out. So still looking at Royce O'Neal a little bit. That's probably where I would go. Gary Trent a little bit. Grayson Allen at 6,000. I don't love. Emmanuel Quickley has a fantastic matchup. Would love me some Quickly here. He is the highest priced Toronto guy. RJ Barrett is what we'd look at. So not a ton of value right now. Again, wait for anyone that may be ruled out of nowhere. Just like last night, Wendell Carter Jr. was ruled out 45 minutes before lock, and he was one of my core plays last night because he had a perfect matchup. We've got Boston versus Denver. I want exposure to this game. I don't really care where it comes from. We'll run the simulations. We'll get the other value. We'll look at the fantasy points. We'll look at the Vegas numbers closer to lock. Everyone is in play on this lineup. If you want some value, it depends on what we can get out of value. Peyton Pritchard, the minutes have been so inconsistent. But against Golden State, when they were up huge, so they were up big, and that's why he got 27 minutes. So you're looking basically probably right on 15 minutes for Peyton Pritchard. Still not getting the 1 point per minute, so I'm probably off of him. Peyton Watson for 3,700. The minutes have kind of been there. I'm okay with him. It depends if he's going to get those minutes. Obviously, Jokic being 11,400. We know Tatum in this matchup. Porzingis, I don't mind Porzingis here. Coming off 50 burger 2 nights ago. Wouldn't be surprised if he does that again if this matchup stays close. Sacramento versus San Antonio. Love me some bonus. He's the picture of the video in the article. Wembanyama is actually out. Is it just maintenance or is he hurt? Oh, sprained right ankle. So that will open up value. Devin Vassell should pop up there for sure. Get some more run. Jeremy Sokin, I don't mind. Kevin Huerter, I don't mind. Could we see Branham get a little bit? His minutes have been there and his value have been there. So Malachi Branham, I don't mind him at all, especially at 4,200. Trey Lyles, on the flip side, he's getting the minutes. He's very low price, so if you put him in there and you put a couple of other $3,000 players in there, I think we could be in store for something good, considering the minutes should be there in a game that kind of close. Well, it's not. The Kings are actually a 10-point favorite. So even so, with the Kings being a 10-point favorite, Trey Lyles could get run if they do go up pretty big there, so I absolutely love a 34. I would not be surprised. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if they are actually up that big and it stays that like a double digit. Trey Lyles gets those 30, 35 minutes, could get 10 times value today. He just feels like one of those big value plays for me today, especially at his price. That's probably as low as I would go. Keegan Murray, I want some exposure to. Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis is my number one guy, though, at 10,600. Like, if you don't want to pay up for Luka at 12,200, I love me some Sabonis at 10,000. Then the final game, Chicago versus Golden State. We're very much aware what happened against Boston. But last night, Golden State won pretty handily against Milwaukee, 125-90. Steph Curry did let us down. Still, we didn't have any exposure to Curry. 48.5 fantasy points is not enough at 9,000. But when he gets hot, he get 50 plus. We know that. He makes sense to use a little bit. Vucevic makes sense. We used him. He was in 2 of our 3 lineups last night. 42.5. Absolutely loved him. Dosunmu, I would look. His price is going up though. I don't know if I'd go with him at his price of 6,300. I'm getting priced out on him. Chris Paul, we talked about yesterday. 28 fantasy points at 5,400. He went up 200. I still don't mind him as long as the minutes are there. Caruso is a cheaper option. If you want to get even lower for cheaper, there's not a ton that I love for cheaper. You got Kevin Looney, who's not getting the minutes, not getting the fantasy points. Jackson Davis. He's been so inconsistent for me. If this game isn't close, I could see it. But it's a 6.5 point spread for Golden State. If they get up and he gets the run, we're seeing 32, 24, 14 at 3,400. Again, he almost had 10 times value last night. So, again, it's a back-to-backs for some of these teams. That is always something you want to look at because with back-to-backs, you never know what's going to happen. You never know if the certain players are going to sit a little bit more on a back-to-back or not. And there you have it. Those are all of the games. Those are the breakdowns. If you liked it, let us know. If you're looking for a little bit more in these videos, let us know. If you need a little bit more help, we do have all of the information at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We're very, very excited to bring you everything we can, especially MLB. MLB is our bread and butter, breaking down videos for 45 minutes to an hour every single day. On top of that, we've got simulations. We've got top plays that we like. We've got it all. So we're very, very excited. But that being said, you're here, probably still here, for a lineup we're going to build. So let's build a lineup to kind of give an idea of one of our tools. So this is one of our tools. This is the DVP tool. You can use it multiple times, multiple different ways. But with the teams being played, Phoenix Suns give up the most amount to point guards at 55.2 fantasy points on DraftKings. So that brings us to Toronto point guard. Without even looking at DVP, I already loved Emmanuel Quickley. So we look at Emmanuel Quickley. He's got the best matchup for players. Coming off pretty good results here. He's playing 30-plus minutes. I'm putting Emmanuel Quickley in this lineup to start. Now, again, this is a multi-lineup type night. This is only one lineup. So if you have other lineups you would like, if you want to build different ways, DVP, implied team totals, previous games, if you go look at our projections with our player projections, we have different how they've performed their last 5 games, their ceiling, their average, or their floor, their average, and their ceiling in their last 5 matchups. So again, you have all of this information, but again, recency bias, you want to look at how the players have done the last 5 games, and that's what we can bring you. So, that being said, we move to the next position real quick. Shooting guard. Atlanta, Utah, Dallas. These guys aren't playing. Dallas is playing. So, we look at that. Shooting guard. Miami. Hero is out. Rozier, like I said, a value is not a huge value, 6,600, but he's playing the minutes. He's getting 30-plus fantasy points. Again, that's not the best. If we look at simulations, I can't believe his price is steadily gone up. Just kind of looking, projected right around 30, 34 fantasy points. I wouldn't be surprised. 7.5 times value, 10% of the time. So again, you want to find those big value guys, and we can go off of there. So at the end of this video, we will talk about the biggest value on the slate as of now, and then that may change throughout the day later on. So moving to the next position, small forward, Utah, 49.7. I don't believe they are playing though. So we move on down to Toronto, 48.8. Phoenix, small forward, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. I want to save some value here. I want to take Royce O'Neal. Now, he's a little bit cheaper than Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen, he's coming off 50 fantasy points on the 5th, so 2 days ago. People are going to see that. But you look, he made 8 of 12 3-pointers. So he made a ton of 3-pointers, which is the most 3-pointers he has made probably all year. So he was absolutely on fire. Nope, he made 9 of 14 on the 16th against Sacramento. 9 of 14. So when he is on fire, he's making a lot of threes. He had 28 actual points, which was a ton of points for him. 50.25. They moved him up from 5,600 to 6,000. So I'm going to pivot from Grayson Allen because I think he's going to be the most popular one. I'm going to go Royce O'Neal for small forward. So we move to power forward. We're looking at power forward. Utah gives up the most. Charlotte, Chicago at 51.6. 51.6, so Golden State, power forward. Is it Kuminga? Is it Draymond Green? Is it Wiggins? Kuminga with the minutes, 25 minutes, 38 fantasy points. Draymond at 6,400, 25 minutes, 32 fantasy. I mean, they've been pretty similar. So if we look at the difference, Kuminga, the value projected right around 4.66. If you're looking for other value, yeah, I would still go with Kuminga. I don't trust Draymond as much, and he is always a firecracker that could always get ejected in a game simply and at right around the same price. I don't trust Draymond because, again, he could foul out quickly. He could get ejected so fast, and then your lineup's basically blown up immediately due to him. And then we've got center position. The Spurs give up the most with Wemby being out. Again, watch out for the blowout. That is the only thing that scares me a little bit is this blowout. But Sacramento, Sabonis, I absolutely love Sabonis here, which we've talked about. I want exposure to this game. I want Sabonis here. Trey Lyles could be another one. If they do get up big, so Sabonis is going to be your pay-up center. Trey Lyles could be that sneaky 10 times value today at 3,400. So for instance, let's just put both of them in there. Okay? And that would be our forward or utility, whatever we want. Now, we've got to find 2 value picks here at 4,400 or below. Again, you don't have to use all of your salary. You don't have to use 100% of your salary, but you can if you want. So, kind of just looking, and this is where some of these things will come into play. Looking at some value plays today at 4,400. Zach Collins on the flip side in this game at 4,300. He, as of the making of this video, he is the biggest value on the slate. So now we've got a guard position, 4,400 left. Where can we go with this at 4,400 for being a value? We can look 4,400 or below. We've got Fonte. I'm just going to call him Fonte. In this game, could be a close game. 30-plus fantasy points out of him. He's 4,200. Smash him in there. Oh, hold on. Oh, at guard. My bad. We've got to go with a guard. So you could throw in Fonte here for instead of Lyles. Well, you couldn't. small forward to power forward. So if you want to save money instead of Kuminga, you could go with Fonte at 4,200, which allows us a lot. So let's take him out. Let's throw him in. And now we have 6,900 for a guard, which is not bad with all things considered. So if you bring, that's Bradley Beal at 6,900, which again, I think I'd be probably where I'd go. So that opens up Bradley Beal in a game that should be competitive, should be a little bit closer. I love this lineup. This is a unique lineup you can build with, and I just feel confident about this. If you guys like it, hit that like button. And we will do real quick on FanDuel, and we will end the video today. So, Phoenix gives up the most, per usual. So we look at that. We're looking at point guard. We're looking at Phoenix. Devin Booker is out. Emmanuel Quickley. That's another one. Bradley Beal you could be looking at. If you want to, it's $100. Or no, it would be Emmanuel Quickley here. And then in the same matchup, Bradley Beal is where I'd go. But we can kind of look at this. We can kind of build a lineup just depending on what you guys are looking at, what you guys feel. So we go to shooting guard. We go to right here, Utah, Atlanta, Detroit. So Detroit gives up the most out of the teams that are playing. We look at Detroit for shooting guard. That is Brooklyn. So let's get them out of there. Value should open up here. Michael Bridges, we could definitely be looking at. That is definitely one that I don't mind. 7,800. But other ones I kind of want to look at would be, I want to focus on the game that I think is going to be the most. So I want to focus on San Antonio versus Sacramento. I do. And I want to look at shooting guard. Devin Vassell at 7,700. I don't mind. I do not mind Devin Vassell at 7,700. But there's another one in this game on the opposite, on the same side, that I think we want to look at just a little bit. Not necessarily a huge guy here, but shooting guard wise, we've talked about it. Branham at 4,600. If he gets the run, I don't mind him. It's going to be a little cheaper option. Both San Antonio shooting guards, I think they both could go off. If you want to change it up a little bit, that's completely fine. I completely understand. But let's move on to the small forward position. We look at the small forward. We look at Toronto, Lakers, Spurs. Like, we look at all of these. But as I said, I want exposure to that Minnesota Indy game. Okay? Kyle Anderson at 5,500 allows us other things because we are still averaging 6,500 off of there. So Kyle Anderson makes sense. Anthony Edwards makes sense. I completely get that. Jaden McDaniels at 5,200. If it's between Jaden and Kyle Anderson, I'm still taking Kyle Anderson here because I just like him a little bit better in that matchup. Another one I would look at, depending on small forward, Jimmy Butler. I still love this picture of Jimmy Butler on FanDuel. It's so funny. Coming off back-to-back really good games against Utah and Detroit. With Hero being out, with other players, I think Jimmy Butler makes sense. And that brings us to an average of 5,700 for power forward and center position. I think we can find some value that maybe you guys aren't looking at, maybe you guys aren't looking for in this matchup here. So power forward, we were all over Olenek the other night. We're looking at Kelly Olynyk 2 nights ago. Went off for 43.7. I think at 6,500, it's harder, but maybe we take Bradley Beal out. So we take Bradley Beal out, and we're still looking at, an average of 6,200 for a point guard. So let's go back to point guard real quick. Let's go to all point guards. We can look at all of this. This one, I like Trey Jones at 5,500 for value. Coming off a couple of bad games, but against OKC and Minnesota, he was up there. 5,500, if this game if they are actually playing from behind like it's expected them to, I think Trey Jones makes sense and should get 25, 30 minutes in this game. So that leaves us an average of 6,600 for power forward and center, where you want to go. Again, Sabonis, you're not going to be able to pay for him today. You come down here a little bit. we could find a way. We talked about DFS in DFS at 4,900, and that allows us 8,300 for a center. So we can go Bam Adebayo and down. We used Vucevic the other night. Absolutely love him. I don't mind Vucevic. I don't mind Nick Claxton. I don't mind Duran. I think I'm probably going to go with Vooch here and kind of go with that lineup. So Emmanuel Quickley, Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Malachi Branham, Kyle Anderson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Nikola Vucevic. Now, again, things will change. People will be value later, and that's where we'll put it into the Discord channel. So that being said, this is the video. If you guys liked it, let us know. If you want to see something different, if you want us to do a different way, let me know. In the description is the link to DFS Hero to use their awesome lineup optimizer. So that being said, that's what we've got. Good luck on this slate. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.